I'm just thinking about enlightenment this morning. And by that, I guess I don't mean the kind of rational enlightenment. I'm talking about spiritual enlightenment, whatever that may mean. Well, actually, I mean something very specific by it, I think, which is to do with what it feels like to have some kind of spiritual or religious or metaphysical or theological experience, some kind of Pauline conversion. I suppose what I'm thinking of specifically is this incident that's mentioned by Douglas Harding in this book on having no head. I quite like Douglas Harding's writing because it's very nuts and bolts, really. He cites lots of mystical writers, but his writing itself is quite nuts and bolts, and doesn't make overweening claims for the effects of spiritual enlightenment. But what he talks about in terms of how he got into the enlightenment business, if you like, is of his experience. So I can't remember the exact details of this. I think he was walking in the Himalayas, or it was some activity like that. And he was standing on a hill looking out. And what he says is that he stopped thinking. That's what he says. He stopped thinking. So his subjective experience was of a kind of cessation of cognition in favour of a kind of unalloyed sensory connection with the world, just looking specifically, because he talks a lot just about seeing, and seeing the hills and seeing the land in front of him and seeing his own body. And it's at that point he notices that he can't see his own head. And in an epistemology which is grounded just in what one can see, that epistemology would not contain a head, so the rest of his ideas kind of flow from that fairly surreal idea that you think what it would be like, or you experience what it would be like to live in a universe in which there is no head doing the thinking. The thinking is just, to the extent thinking is happening at all, it's happening at a perceptual level, and it's happening in a kind of disembodied, almost a kind of panpsychic way. I don't think I'm really explaining his ideas very well there. But the important thing from my perspective, and what I'm thinking about right now, is that it's figured by this moment, this sudden experience that he has, this sudden transformative experience. And a lot of kind of visionary thinkers and visionary thinkers and mystics make reference to those kinds of experiences, those sudden transformative experiences, and you get it in things like certain versions of Zen, in which you meditate upon some kind of some paradox, and those little what are they called? Zen. I can't remember. Those little aphorisms. You meditate on what the sound of one hand clapping is, or whatever it may be. And at a certain point, there's a kind of breakthrough moment when the world is revealed to you in a new way. I kind of wish I'd had some of those. I can't think of any point in my life when I've had anything like that. I guess like most people my age, I experimented with drugs many years ago, and certainly the effects of LSD are can be strange and slightly transformative. You can certainly see the world in very different ways. But I don't remember ever thinking, wow, the world's completely different now, and certainly not in a way that would stay with me. Although I haven't said that, I know there is some research to show that people who have some kind of religious faith to start with, who, I think it was with psilocybin mushrooms are experimenting, people who then ingest psilocybin mushrooms describe that experience as the most transformative and the most profound experience of their lives. So maybe there is a way of looking at those kind of experiences in a similar vein. As I say, I've not really experienced anything like that. And I'm just wondering, as a necessity really, I'm just wondering to what extent is it absolutely necessary to have that kind of felt experience, or a kind of unified sense of that, a kind of, as I say, a kind of unalloyed sense of some kind of mystical reality, if you like, or a mystical perception of reality. And I suppose here I'm reminded again about a kind of debate that was on YouTube somewhere, with Michael Sherman and a bunch of other people. And one of the people that's in this panel, and I'm sorry I'm being so vague about this, I just can't remember the details. One of the people that's in the panel with Sherman comes out with this really, in a sense, a very trite comment. She's talking about, I think she's talking about perennialism actually, perennial philosophy. And she makes that comment about everything being connected, which is such a cliche these days. She says something like, yeah, everything's connected. And at the time I thought, well, yeah, and? But obviously she's talking about it in a way which brings the connectedness of everything, not as a kind of scientific proposition, which is easily verifiable. Yes, of course, everything is connected by chains of causality or by various part-whole relationships or those kind of things. She's talking about experiencing the connection of everything in a way which is not kind of conceptual and having those kind of logical frameworks around it. She's talking about experiencing that connection in the kind of total senseless communist kind of way. I think that's the only way I can interpret it. But for me the important thing is it's pretty irrelevant really. It doesn't really matter whether you have this profound experience and deeply felt understanding of everything being connected or whatever the mystical experience may be. That doesn't change it really. That doesn't change anything else about the world out there. It might mean that you understand something slightly better for yourself, but it's not a testament to the reality of that experience or the falsity of that experience. It's not a testament to it doesn't tell you anything about the structure or the mechanism or the value or anything like that about the reality that you feel yourself particularly attached to or particularly in a state of understanding of. Yeah, I suppose what I'm saying is that that much as I would like to have a mystical transformative experience, a Pauline conversion, a moment of blinding light, or a moment in which my thinking stops, in which all those things, one or all of those things happens, much as I would like that, I can't really rely on that or as a means of gaining any kind of knowledge of the world, nor would it be any kind of validation or verification of any other kind of understanding of the world. Just because you feel something to be true and you feel it on a deep level doesn't make it true, doesn't make it useful, doesn't make it valuable. I would still like one though. I'm still waiting. Anytime you're ready.